Hello friends, welcome once again. In this Sawal Aapke Jawab Hamare, we will take another comment, this time on a video by the name Understanding Basics of Interview Technique. And the comment is from Nikita Datta. Thank you, sir. One question. How do I make sure my PI goes well? How can I be sure that the psychologist takes my responses in the same manner in which I am trying to explain? There are two parts to this question. One is on personal interview and the other is on the psychological test. In this video, I'll take only the first part, that is, how do I make sure my PI goes well? So, personal interview, Vachha. That's what we are going to take in this video. Now, you understand, the interview is taken by an officer of the rank of Major General, Brigadier or Colonel and equivalent in the Navy and Air Force. In case of Air Force, even wing commanders take this interview. Now they will not be in uniform, they will be in civil dress. They are trained by DIPR, and once the candidate comes in, now the question by Nikita is, how do I make sure my PI goes well? To answer to this question, you have to understand there are three stages of your entire SSB journey: the preparation stage, the performance stage, and the outcome. Now Nikita's question concerns to the performance stage, that in the actual interview at the SSB, how do I perform and make sure that my PI goes well? So that means this preparation stage is over, and right now she is performing. She has to perform in a manner that she gets recommended, and you know the recommendation is very, very low. Now the question is, how do I make sure my PI goes well? It depends upon how well you have prepared during the preparation phase, because the preparation phase, depending upon what you have done, will determine how are you going to perform, and that will determine what is the outcome. So in many cases, you are all wanting to get the outcome, but then you have not prepared, and since you have not prepared, you cannot perform. So this question is, since a conditional question, that what have you done in terms of your preparation? So Nikita ka answer hai, you prepare well, you will perform well, and you will get what you want. So that's a sequence, that's an equation. Now this is a deep question, so I'll take some time to make a full-fledged video on this, and this will be a little lengthy, but I'm sure it will be tremendously useful to you in terms of what you need to do for your SSB personal interview. I made many videos on psychological tests, but on interview not so many as compared to psychological tests, so this one will be the first in that series. So Nikita ka question hai, how do I make sure my PI goes well? It depends at the stage of preparation, what are you doing? If in the stage of preparation you have been able to identify delta by yourself or by the assistance of some coaching, credible coaching, then this delta has to be identified and bridged in the preparation phase, because only then the performance will improve. And then if you apply tips and tricks, that means you are unwilling to bridge this gap, yet you want to perform in the SSB. That will not happen. So please remember, what you do in the preparation phase, that becomes the cause which will decide how well you perform in the SSB. I hope, Nikita, if you're watching, this is clear. So preparation is the key to success, and that's the answer to your question. So this delta identification becomes extremely, extremely important. Simply by doing TAT, you're only practicing TAT, but you're not identifying the delta and bridging the delta. Remember that. So when you go to the SSB interview, personal interview, and at the performance phase, you have already prepared, your performance is there. Please remember, you are the sender, and 90% to 95% of the time, it's you who is going to speak in an interview, and he is the receiver. And based on what you speak and what he receives and demodulate, he will understand what is the level of your preparation. Please remember, there is an expectation alignment that you have to make. You cannot go and get your recommendation without giving what they want. So that's called expectation alignment. This has to be achieved by understanding what do they expect, how much you have, how much is the gap, how to fill the gap. So effort alignment has to be done. ये नहीं करोगे तो आप अगर टिप्स एंड ट्रिप्स लगाओगे डेल्टा को भरे बिना, तो नेचुरली आप इस एक्सपेक्टेशन को अलाइन नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज इस डेल्टा के बेस पे वो दिखाएं, वो तीनों साइकोलॉजिस्ट जीटीओ इंटरव्यू, दे आर गोइंग टू डिटरमाइन हाउ ट्रेनेबल आर यू. देयर आर मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स ऑफ ट्रेनेबिलिटी, उसके ऊपर सेपरेट वीडियो बनाऊंगा इफ यू कमेंट. सो at this stage of preparation you must reduce this delta so much that when you go to the interview the delta is minimized and thus your trainability becomes high. इसे छुपा के जाओगे टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स लगा के, देन आप इस डेल्टा को एड्रेस किए बिना एसएसबी में जा रहे हो उसको छुपा के, एंड वो डिटेक्ट होने की हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी है, एंड देन योर ट्रेनेबिलिटी विल गो लो. सो इसके ऊपर मैं और डिटेल में आई विल कवर इट इन दी subsequent video. So before you're called in, your PIQ is what the interviewing officer goes through. It is like Janam Patri for you. It also has got the OAR rating. So please make sure that you do well in your OAR, because this information is there with the psychologist as well as with the interviewing officer. And PIQ mein there are a lot of information that you fill. Please make sure the information is credible. Please make sure इसको बढ़ा चढ़ा के ना लिखो, because it will be questioned on that. And there will be a third sheet for service-centric candidates. Please make sure you understand whatever you're filling. You should be able to respond to whatever questions that are asked on this. इस PIQ के base में he creates a threshold, and during the course of interview either you go up or you go down. So make sure that your PIQ is well understood, neatly written, no cuttings, because this will create a first impression even before you enter. So make sure that your PIQ is well written and you understand what you're writing. Once he goes through the PIQ, he calls the candidate inside the interview room. You will find there's a chair and a side table with a glass of water. So when you enter, please make sure you don't enter like this or like this. This is very poor posture. Please make sure you enter straight, with your body straight, and it must radiate confidence, and go and stand next to the chair unless you're told. Please make sure that your haircut is properly done. Please make sure you're clean shaven, you have a smile, and if you're a girl, please make sure your hairs are properly tied. इसको फैला के मत करो जिससे आपका face भी cover हो जाए. And please make sure you're neatly dressed, not very fancy or flashy. Girls, please avoid jewelry. At best you can have a small little gold chain if you want. Otherwise, you're not going for a fashion show, you're going for a formal interview for the military armed forces. So make sure you're decently dressed, and handshake tab tak nahi karna jab tak the interviewing officer does not extend the hand. And once you shake the hand, please make sure it's a firm handshake, not a dhila dhala wala. And once he asks you to sit down, please go and sit down on the chair. Facial expression, please make sure that your facial expression is pleasant. This is a neutral expression, and you can see other expression. So it has to be a very pleasant expression. And if you're prepared well, your confidence will radiate. The problem is if you're not prepared well, आप इस face को artificially हंसी में नहीं रख सकते, because आपका खोखलापन थोड़ी देर में बाहर आ जाएगा. So please make sure you maintain your non-verbal communication adequately. When you sit, please make sure you don't sit like this. Backrest को use ना किए, ना इस तरह से hunchback करके बैठना है. Sit straight, looking into the eyes of the interviewing officer. Once you sit, say thank you, and wait for the further questions. Now please make sure that your facial expression, your eyes, your heads, your body position, your head gestures, all these things are in order, because non-verbal communication, your body language constitutes almost 75% of your communication. So the more better you're prepared, the better will be your body language. Otherwise आप इसको artificially अंदर से खोखले हो, आपके बंदूक में गोली नहीं है, तो बाहर से कॉन्फिडेंस आप दिखा नहीं सकते ज़्यादा देर पे, बिकॉज फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन में आपका वो पंचर हो जाएगा. Now negative body language, I have listed them there, go through it. ये body language he keeps observing, और वो आपका confidence, आपका preparation, आपका level of awareness, आपका passion, everything can be decoded depending upon how your body is communicating. So please make sure the body language is correct. So let's see the sequence of SSB interview. It is based on something called CIQ. It is called Comprehensive Information Questionnaire, where your entire life is scanned and broken into various parts and studied as to how you conducted yourself in various aspects of life so far, and a prediction is made. So before the CIQs are asked, the first thing they ask is rapport building, which can include your journey from your hometown to the SSB center, about your district, about your stay and food at the SSB, and about the friends that you made or something like that. And it can also be tell me about yourself. Now please make sure you prepare your tell me about yourself well in hand. वहाँ जाके आप सोचोगे you'll come under pressure. Now this is a question about you, and I think you should know about you, and you should know what all aspects you must cover. If you want, you can send me a message and I'll share you the details. Ki what all tentatively you can cover in this. Second is, why do you wish to become an officer in the Indian Armed Forces? Why do you wish to become? And third question can be, why do you think you deserve to become? So deserve to become and wish to become, there are two different aspects. एक इच्छा है, एक योग्यता है. So please make sure you prepare on those things. Next is your work experience. This is a CIQ for service-entry candidates and for working candidates. Education and training. That's your educational background, where your marks and all those will be there. Early home background. This is your family background. In case you're married, that also will be covered in this. Spare time, hobbies and interests. So this is your hobbies and interests and current affairs, GK, geopolitics, all those stuff. And present social adjustment for service entry candidates, and self-evaluation. Self-evaluation is equivalent to the self-description in the psychological test. There you give it in writing, here it is spoken, and you'll be cross-questioned here. There you will not be cross-questioned, but your responses will be analyzed to see whatever you claimed in the SD, they must manifest in the TAT, which constitutes 70% of the assessment weightage in the psychological test. And finally, closing of the interview. So before you're left, you're sealed off and आपको बाहर भेज दिया जाएगा. So this is the sequence. Now for those of you who want the CIQ, you can just WhatsApp me on this number and I'll get the CIQ. Please make sure your preparation is thorough and in depth so that you perform well. Like Nikita ne पूछा, how do I perform well in the interview? So to perform well, you have to prepare well. Now English communication skill आप लोगों को अंदाजा लग गया होगा, because 90% of the time it's a candidate who is speaking. If your English communication skill is weak, even if you're good, you cannot communicate. जैसा मैं अभी बोल रहा हूँ, मैं हिंदी और इंग्लिश को यूज़ करके बोल रहा हूँ. If my language skills are not good, even if I have good content, I will not be able to communicate. Same thing will happen to you. And imagine अगर आप इंटरव्यू में जाके आप पुअर कम्युनिकेशन स्किल में उलझ जाते हो, वर्बोसिटी है, लैक ऑफ क्लैरिटी है, प्री कंसीव नोशन के साथ बोल रहे हो, स्ट्रेन एक्सप्रेशन है, तो फिर आपका कैसे इंटरव्यू होगा? द इंटरव्यू ऑफिसर विल गेट इरिटेटेड कि ये बंदा क्यों आ गया है. सो यू नीड टू कवर इट अप. Imagine you go for the SSB with poor communication skill or with developed communication skill. आपको क्या लगता है किस में फ़ायदा होगा? Please make sure सिर्फ इच्छा नहीं होने से चलेगा, योग्यता पे काम करना पड़ेगा. So you decide, if your aim is to get recommended, which way you should prepare. I think you should prepare well, and that's where the preparation phase comes. So if you go to the SSB unprepared, that means even at the level of preparation stage, you were not good, but you decided to go like that, and then now you expect that you will do well at the SSB. That will not happen. Nikita ne पूछा, how do I make sure my PA goes well? Now at the preparation stage, if you're not done, it becomes challenging to perform in the performance stage. So I hope that link is clear. Now this is an official letter from Army Headquarters. इसका पैरा 1A, poor communication skill both written and verbal. So यहाँ पे पहला ही पॉइंट दिया हुआ written and verbal. So we have a communication master class जो हम पहले भी करते थे. We are planning it once again. So those of you interested, you can contact me on this number and get you the details. इसमें ये जो poor communication skill, both language skills and content के ऊपर काम किया जाएगा. So WhatsApp me and I'll share you the details. So you have to improve your communication skill, because if you don't do that, then whatever you have, it will not come out. So please make sure that you do it. Next is low intellectual level and negative perception. Now low intellectual level मतलब आपका बुद्धि, और आपको पता हो OLQ there are 4 effective intelligence, reasoning ability, organizing ability and power of expression, which are connected to your IQ. You have to develop it. If you don't develop it और वहाँ जाके जंग लावा दिमाग से करोगे, naturally your IQ will be low, and if your reasoning ability is low, that's mother of all OLQ. So there's no point that आपको पता होते हुए भी आप इसे ना किए जाओ and then expect the performance will go high. It will not do. Now if you look at the YLC का syllabus, YLC जो OTM में है, उसमें mental robustness, leadership trait, character building, improving communication skills in English, public speaking, learning conflict management, resolution, decision making, problem solving, soft skills in basic management, military etiquette. Now, these are the things that are covered in the YLC. So please make sure when you go to the SSB as part of your preparation, please cover it. And इसमें जो self management leadership classes मैं conduct करता हूँ, इसमें all those things that was listed in the YLC का syllabus and much more is covered in this, है ना? You can see some of the topics here: law of cause and effect relation, development of problem solving skill, development of critical thinking skill, development of creative thinking skill, development of decision making skills, self awareness key to success, management information system of the self, that's mind management, smart goal setting, relationship management, stress management, and development of effective communication skill. Now you can watch one video, SML Mind Matters, that'll give you what all are covered and how is it going to affect you both in terms of your life and in terms of SSB preparation. So these classes are conducted both in the offline mode, online mode, and the hybrid mode. Those of you interested, you can contact me on this number and we will include you in the batch. Now, इसके अलावा एक और बात बता देता हूँ कि when you come to the AFOSOP online, offline or hybrid batch, there are two programs that we run. One is the Leadership and Personality Development Program using Self-Management Leadership and the SSB testing tools. Unfortunately, what you're doing is in a 14 days module, you're only doing the SSB testing tool, ignoring what is being tested. That will be disastrous. And the physical dimension, the intellectual dimension, the emotional dimension, the value dimension, unless you develop this is what is being tested. आप इसे छोड़ के सिर्फ अगर TAT WAT करते रह जाओगे, which is the SSB का testing tool, so आप गड़बड़ कर दोगे. So first portion को किए बिना second portion को करने से कोई फायदा नहीं है. So do contact us and we'll share you the details for the upcoming batches. Let's come back to the negative perception part. Negative perception का मतलब है कि आपका SSB को जिस नज़रिए से देख रहे हो और SSB जिस नज़र से देख रहे हो, there's a huge gap. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर ये हाथी है जो SSB वाले देख रहे हैं या DIPR देख रहा है, तो कैंडिडेट का हाथी ऐसा है, 6 blind men and an elephant. It's completely distorted. इस डिस्टॉर्शन को जब तक ब्रिज नहीं किया जाएगा, आपका SSB और SSB वालों का SSB एक हो ही नहीं सकता. It's like two sides of a coin. So watch this video, Perception Management of Candidates for Improved Selection, and you will understand what I'm trying to say. Watch this video, and this is a letter from Director DIPR. इसके अंदर जो para 1 है उसमें लिखा है, appreciate the concept, the AFOSOP and assisted introspection. Today assisted introspection is SML, and this is the letter from Army Headquarters. इसका para 2A लिखता है, the AFOSOP as a counter to the conventional SSB coaching, which is based on rote memory, and B is assisted introspection, which is today self-management leadership for non-recommended candidate, but today it is not for non-recommended candidates across. So you can see the official letters to this. So watch this video, Perception Management of Candidates for Improved Selection. जब तक this perception is not bridged, your efforts will be scalar and the results will always be 3.6. अगर इसको 5 भी करना है, you need to improve your clarity. So clarity के लिए you can contact me on this number 9090099035 and we'll get back to you. Next is poor general awareness, time management, stereotype, coach response. Now what does it mean? You have to improve your depth and breadth of knowledge. That's a content, that's a गोली. Language बंदूक, ये गोली. तो बिना current affairs को अपडेट किए, बिना जियोपॉलिटिक्स को अपडेट किए वहाँ जाना बेकार है. So I'll tell you certain area we'll have to work. One is national affairs. What is happening in India? There are so many things happening in India. प्राण प्रतिष्ठा, ज्ञानवापी मंदिर, अभी इलेक्शंस होने वाले हैं, अभी अपना नेवल ऑफिसर्स को रिलीज किया है, 8 नेवल ऑफिसर्स. So many things happening in and around. So national news, please update it. Next is international news. Next is India and its neighbors. Next is geopolitics. Dr. Jai Shankar के कारण हमें पता है कि what External Affairs Ministry is doing, and the recent one is the release of the 8 naval officers. And next is international organization. So many of them, India is part of it. G20 we held. Next is defense related knowledge. Now if you're going for Army, Navy, Air Force, there's no question that you say, sorry sir, I don't know. So major military operation rank structure, organizational structure, major weapon system, history, major operations, all those things. And next is knowledge about sports and games. अगर currently कुछ बड़ा event हो रहा है, you must be aware of that. Next is Indian social issues, and then your own state, district and all those stuff. So this anyway we will be covering in the मस्ट नो स्टफ का जो क्लासेस कंडक्ट करेंगे मास्टर क्लास में वो, और यू कैन व्हाट्सएप इन, आई शेयर यू सम डिटेल्स. नेक्स्ट, in order to improve your current affairs, I'll give you one suggestion. आप लोग को मेजर यशमोर सर को जानते होंगे, सेना मेडल. Please watch his videos, or he conducts his daily news analysis, and he also conducts podcasts with various eminent personalities, and one of the latest one is Lieutenant Commander Devdutt Sharma. I will suggest to watch that and continue watching General Moore sir का जो वीडियो है करंट अफेयर्स के ऊपर. He does a credible job in terms of analyzing it, and अगर उसको continuously follow करो और किसी न्यूज़पेपर को आप follow करो, I'm sure your these aspects will be covered very very conveniently. Besides, there are so many other YouTube channel and resources that are available. Only you must have the will to do it. So please follow sir and start reading one newspaper at least. And उसके अलावा when you come to the communication skill master class, we'll be covering these topics anyway for your content building part. Next point is lack of insight, stress tolerance and rigidity. What does it mean is, when you go to the SSB, please make sure at the stage of preparation, you must know your strength and weaknesses. Self-awareness is having a clear perception of your personality, including your strength, weakness, thoughts, belief system, value system, needs, motives and emotion. Also, self-awareness allows you to understand other people, how they perceive you, your attitude and your responses to them in the moment. So when your self-awareness increases, you actually can predict मैं TAT, WAT, SRT life में various situation में how I'm likely to respond, because you're aware. The problem is आप उसे रट के जा रहे हो. So उसके कारण क्या होता है, there is a lack of insight. तो वो पता चलता है, और इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर इज इंटरेक्टिव विद यू, उसको पता चल रहा है मैं एक खोखले आदमी का इंटरव्यू ले रहा हूँ. वो जेंटलमैन बुलाता है आपको, बट यू आर नॉट बिहेविंग लाइक ए जेंटलमैन. अंडरस्टैंड इट, राइट? सो you must know what are your physical strengths and weaknesses. He can ask you what physical activities are you undertaking. They expect certain degree of physical fitness. किसी तरह से अगर SSB select भी हो जाते हो, academy में आप stress में आ जाओगे because you're not physically fit. So it is important that if you're going for the armed forces, there's no question. Even as a civilian, you need to be fit, but you need to take care of this. Second is your intellectual strengths and weakness. Now, observation skill, perception skill, association skill, critical thinking, creative thinking, organizing ability, conflict resolution, decision making, judgment, discriminatory skill. So many skills are there which needs to be developed. इसको अगर किए बिना आप चले गए तो आप मुंह खोलते ही इंटरव्यू ऑफिसर को पता चल जाएगा कि where do you stand. So I think it makes sense that you go prepared and let him feel that he is speaking to an intelligent person. Next is emotional skills, है ना? Your self-awareness, self-regulation, internal motivation, social awareness, social regulation. If you understand this, you will understand how to deal with people. This is also called social skill. And this is so easy to identify once as part of your interaction, right? Next is values. You have to understand the organization that you want to join. Army, Navy, Air Force, it has some organizational values, and you must know what are your personal value, and you must know whether your organizational value and the personal value जो आपके हैं वो aligned है या वो disaligned है. If they are disaligned, why are you joining this organization? अगर आपके values और organization के value aligned नहीं है, you must not join this. बहुत simple है. So please make sure that you understand your values that govern your life, and what are your core strengths and what are your core weakness in terms of your values. And the last is stress tolerance. Armed forces is a high stress job. It is not a job, it's a way of life. So they will definitely like to know, Nikita या किसी भी candidate को, how good is your stress resilience. So stress is, we want people with high stability under stress. Vikram Batra, Unni Krishnan, so many of them. So stability under stress is a requirement, services का requirement है. अगर आप highly stress prone हो, छोटी छोटी बातों में घबराहट हो जाती है, English communication skill नहीं आता, आप stress में आ जाते हो, you are not a suitable person for our organization. So over a period of time it can be built. Stress management is outer pressure divided by inner coping ability. And when the numerator is greater than denominator, your stress handling is high. Outer pressure मतलब बाहर की परिस्थिति मेरे मनस्थिति को अगर विचलित नहीं करता, my stress handling is high. लेकिन अगर बाहर की छोटी सी भी परिस्थिति मेरे मनस्थिति को बहुत ज़्यादा विचलित कर देता है, आई एम नॉट सुटेबल कैंडिडेट फॉर द आर्म फोर्सेस. आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड दिस. प्लीज पुट योर कमेंट. So if you really want to improve your stress management skills and your problem solving skills and all that, you're most welcome to join the AFOSOP offline online hybrid batches, and this is the number on which you to contact, and I'll share you the details. This will tremendously help you both in life and of course in SSB. After all, SSB is a subset of life. Now I'll tell you certain common observation based on my experience of interacting with candidates and the interviewing officer who have been working with me. उनका common observation जो कि मैं list करूँगा, and please make sure you address them before you go for the SSB. Only then Nikita का जो question है, how do I ensure that my personal interview goes well? By doing an excellent preparation. So first is not paying attention to the CIQ questions asked. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Please don't hear, listen. Listen is a intellectual process. Only then you will understand and comprehend. Otherwise, you will tend to forget the CIQs. You will mix up the CIQs. You will keep asking, sir, can you repeat? Can you repeat? I can say CIQ in education. Suppose you tell me about your education. I'll not read it because these things are already available in the YouTube channel and also in the AFOSOP Graphy channel. Now, suppose you tell me, say, leke, you may start from class 10. The entire thing is asked in one go. And you're supposed to pay attention to this, grasp, understand, comprehend and respond. But अगर आपका tendency है to hear and not to listen, then you will keep saying, can you repeat, sir? Can you repeat, sir? No, he will not repeat. He may repeat once or twice and will say, okay, skip. That may not be really good to you. So please make sure that you improve your, active listening skills. This is the skill that you need to develop. कैसे करना? Once you're there, we'll do that for you. Next is, for example, your education. For example, this is my marks, 53.73 in 10th, 12th, dropout, 11th में 43 or something. So there will be a lot of questions. This is an inconsistent performance, there's a drop in performance, there's a gap in performance, no placement. All these things will be questioned. So if you're a consistent high performer, you don't have to worry. If you're a consistent low performer, you are in thick soup. If you're an inconsistent performer, a lot of questions will be asked. So some of the questions are listed on the sides. You need to answer them in a manner that he gets a feeling of conviction कि yes, बंदे को अपनी गलतियों की समझ है अगर in case we made mistake. But अगर आप उसको गोलमोल घुमाओगे, रटा हुआ दोगे, वो बड़ा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. For example, incomplete response देना, beating around the bush, गोल गोल घूमना, सही बात नहीं बताना, गोली देना, ये सब गड़बड़ कर देगा आपको. So you need to be very, very clear what is the line of communication that you need to take as part of various life events. Next is early home background. This concerns your family, your mother, father, brother, sister, your relationship with them, their relationship with each other, their parenting style, their influence, their financial status, their educational status, the impact on them. I'll not take those CIQs right now, but you must know your family. It's your family. अगर आपका relationship अपने family के साथ ठीक नहीं है, तो आपका relationship अपने जवानों के साथ क्या होगा? You can say this is my personal matter. Your personal matter has a consequence to us because this relationship is the one that has shaped you and made you a person that you're today. So we are interested in that. So make sure he's updated. Next is spare time hobbies and interests. Now अगर आपका कोई hobby नहीं है, कोई interest नहीं है, तो आपको मुश्किल हो जाएगा. Especially when circumstances are favorable. अगर आपके घर के हालात ठीक नहीं है, financial condition ठीक नहीं है, तब समझ में आता है. But when things are favorable but you don't have hobbies and interests, your awareness about current affairs, GK, you're not able to productively use your internet resources, आप ऐसे distracted हो रखे हो, this will have consequences. Book reading नहीं है, तो आप सोचो आपका क्या hobbies and interests है. अगर नहीं है तो क्यों नहीं है? फौज में आने से पहले गांव में था, अब तो फौज में आ गया, अब तो आप सैनिक स्कूल में, अब तो आप RIMC में. So this is important. So make sure you have your responses ready. So CIQ की तैयारी का बेस्ट तरीका है, you must understand what are these CIQs asking. You must pay full attention during the preparation. only then you can perform. आप सोचोगे कि परफॉर्मेंस स्टेज में मैं सोचूंगी फिर बोलूंगी, वो नहीं होगा निकिता. सो द की टू good performance is good preparation. So you must understand your life starting from your date of birth to till date. So if you come for the AFOSOP online offline या hybrid batch under the self management leadership and personality development program, we cover this lifespan development के ऊपर पूरा module. There are certain topics that we cover: self awareness, key to success, जोहारी विंडो, लाइफ लाइन एनालिसिस, स्वॉट एनालिसिस. इनके माध्यम से आपको ये पूरा का पूरा विल गाइड यू असिस्टेड इंट्रोस्पेक्शन एंड हेल्प यू आइडेंटिफाई योर ओन स्ट्रेंथ्स एंड वीकनेसेस एंड उन वीकनेस के ऊपर कैसे काम करना है. सो यू मोस्ट वेलकम टू कॉन्टैक्ट मी एट दिस नंबर and it will tremendously help you. Next is inadequate knowledge about the service that you are wanting to join. आप आर्मी, नेवी, एयरफोर्स में ज्वाइन करना चाहते हो लेकिन आपको इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में नहीं पता, आप हर चीज़ के बारे में बोलते हो सॉरी सर आई डोंट नो, ना इसका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर, ना रैंक स्ट्रक्चर, ना सर्विस चीफ, ना ऑपरेशन, ना परमवीर चक्र, ना मेजर वेपन सिस्टम, ना मेजर ऑपरेशन. बस आई वांट टू जॉइन सर, मेरा चाइल्डहुड ड्रीम है, हवा में बोल रहा हूँ. नो, यू हैव टू डू इट and must know stuff. If you want, you can send me a message and you will get it. Next is lack of general awareness related to country and that is national news and international news. This we have already done it. So sorry sir, I'm not interested in current affairs. So what are you interested in? Only affairs? वो नहीं चलेगा. You have to do it if you want to make sure that your probability of success increases. You must do it. There's no reason you cannot do it. It is simply your unwillingness. Next is lack of basic technical knowledge about your subject, especially for people who are going for technical entry, TGC entry and all those engineer, है ना. आपको अपने बारे में, अपने सब्जेक्ट के बारे में बेसिक पता होना चाहिए and you have to prepare for that. Please do not go like that. आपका performance drop हो जाएगा. Next is अपने ही PIQ में लिखे वाले information को आप justify नहीं कर पा रहे हो. आपको पता ही नहीं चल रहा इसमें क्या लिख दिया, क्यों लिख दिया, बड़ा चढ़ा के लिख दिया. नाउ यू डोंट नो हाउ टू हैंडल इट. सो प्लीज डू नॉट इन्फ्लेट योर PIQ एंड वट एवर यू राइट यू आर रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट. यू विल बी क्वेश्चन. इफ देयर आर गैप्स इन एजुकेशन, इफ देयर आर ड्रॉप इन परफॉर्मेंस, इफ देयर आर इनकन्सिस्टेंसीज, यू नॉट गॉट प्लेसमेंट, अगर आपका ग्रेजुएशन के बाद गैप ज़्यादा आ गया है, नंबर ऑफ कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन दिए, कोई भी क्लियर नहीं हुआ, एवरीथिंग विल बी क्वेश्चन. Sports, hobbies, NCC, previous setup, everything will be questioned. So please make sure, please do not go unprepared. It will have consequences. Next is poor time management. You have decided to go for the SSB interview. There is large gap between your decision and your actual SSB. That entire time, how have you managed? Why certain weaknesses that should have been addressed has not been addressed? It will be questioned. Why your communication skill is weak, why your understanding of the SSB is weak, why your understanding about yourself is weak, why your current affairs is weak. आप क्या जवाब दोगे? So you have to manage this time. आप ऐसे हवा में I'm very passionate बोलने से नहीं चलेगा. So please make sure you prepare well to perform well. Next is you're too critical about your family, friends, teachers, boss, है ना, पूछते हैं ना, whom you don't like. एंड वाई. आप एक्सट्रीम हाइपरक्रिटिकल टेंडेंसीज दिखाते हो, वो नहीं चलेगा, है ना. एनीथिंग इन मॉडरेशन इज फाइन. नथिंग इज ब्लैक एंड वाइट इन लाइफ. इट्स ऑल शेड्स ऑफ ग्रे. सो एक्सट्रीम टेंडेंसीज विल नॉट बी लाइट. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट योर responses to such questions are more balanced. Next is, if you are a socially slow mixer, introvert, takes a lot of time in making friends, you take time to open up, you are too guarded, too insecure. There's no problem with introversion, but it affects your performance, and if it restricts you to open up in the process of interview and it restricts your ability to function in a team, definitely you're not a right choice, because armed forces function as a team and you're showing tendencies of not fitting into the team. This will not be appreciated. So please make sure that your interpersonal skills are in place. EQ is something that can be developed. Your introversion cannot be removed completely, but it should not affect your interpersonal skills to a degree that you're not able to perform. That's important. Your ability to function in a team is very very important. Next is, if your body language is too weak, you're too nervous, you're too anxious, you cannot maintain eye contact, all of them will go against you. And all this will happen when you're not adequately prepared. So make sure these tendencies are removed from the root by making sure you prepare whatever needs to be prepared. हवा में नहीं जाना. Next is, if you're suffering from low self-esteem, जब आप खुद को ही नहीं रेस्पेक्ट कर पाओगे, why should SSB respect you and think that you will be able to function as a leader? If you cannot lead yourself, forget about leading others. So please make sure, if you're suffering from low self-esteem, first fix it and then go for the SSB. इसको रखते हुए जाओगे तो ये बात नहीं बनेगी. Next is, आप आई कांटेक्ट नहीं करते. लाइक आई एम लुकिंग इनटू द कैमरा राइट नाउ, वहाँ पे कैमरा की जगह टू लुक इनटू द आई ऑफ द इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर. बट अगर आप वो नहीं करोगे, आप इधर उधर करते हो, आपकी आंखें नाचती है, मटकती है, डांस करती है, नहीं चलेगा. यू हैव द करेज टू लुक इनटू दैट. दैट विल ओनली हैपन वंस वन यू आर ऑनेस्ट, सेकेंड यू आर टेलिंग द ट्रुथ, एंड थर्ड आपको झूठ बोल के रेकमेंड नहीं होना. जब ये आत्मविश्वास आएगा, कंटेंट भी है, काम भी किया है, अपने ऊपर विश्वास भी है, देन यू कैन डू इट. बट अगर आप झूठ बोलोगे तो एक मेजरों की आंख में देख के झूठ बोलना थोड़ा मुश्किल है, या ब्रिगेडियर हो, कर्नल हो. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट यू प्रिपेयर वेल सो दैट यू हैव द करेज टू लुक इनटू द आईज एंड स्पीक. आई कॉन्टैक्ट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. नेक्स्ट इज अप्रूवल सीकिंग बिहेवियर. यू नो व्हाट इज अप्रूवल सीकिंग बिहेवियर? आप अपने निर्णय खुद नहीं ले पाते, आपको लगता है किसी और से पूछूं, कोचिंग वाले से पूछूं, पापा से पूछूं, मम्मी से पूछूं. अगर वो हाँ बोलेंगे तो करेंगे, बिकॉज एवरी डिसीजन कम विद अ कॉन्सिक्वेंस. सो हमें डिसीजन लेने में डर लगता है, बिकॉज डिसीजन का परिणाम जब आएगा तो हमें वो लेने से डर लगता है. सो चेक करो, आर यू लुकिंग फॉर अप्रूवल सीकिंग? क्या ये TAT, WAT, SRT, GTO ये आपका है या कोचिंग वाले दे रहे हैं? डू यू टेक डिसीजंस इन योर लाइफ बाय योर ओन, और आपके लिए मम्मी पापा लेके देते हैं, दोस्त लेके देते हैं, या आपका बॉस लेके देता है? अप्रूवल सीकिंग बिहेवियर से आप कैसे लीडरशिप पोजीशन पे जाओगे? सो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस विल नॉट बी अप्रिशिएटेड. नेक्स्ट इज फियर ऑफ फेलियर. देखो यार, फेल हो सब हो सकते हैं, लेकिन फेल का डर इतना ज़्यादा कि कोई एक्शन ही इनिशिएट नहीं कर पा रहा, उसके बारे में सोच सोच के मार रहा हूँ. सो इफ़ यू आर ए पर्सन विद फियर ऑफ फेलियर, स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड, मतलब आपने प्रिपेयर नहीं किया और फेल होने की चिंता कर रहे हो, ये कैसा इक्वेशन है? व्हेन यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड यू विल नॉट परफॉर्म, व्हेन यू नॉट परफॉर्म यू विल फेल, और उसके बाद फियर ऑफ फेलियर. सो दिस इज अ कम्प्लीटली इलॉजिकल फियर. सो इससे डर के आगे जीत है, तो डर के आगे जीतने के लिए आपको डर को फेस करना पड़ेगा. सो फियर ऑफ फेलियर, स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड, इज इर्रेशनल. आई डोंट नो समझ में आया नहीं आया. सो दिस विल नॉट वर्क. और अगर इस तरह के फियर्स को लेके आप प्रिपेयर नहीं करोगे, then you are a sure case for rejection. Okay, next is, if you have suicidal tendency, or if you have previously attempted suicide और वो इंटरव्यू के कोर्स में डिटेक्ट हो जाता है, और if he feels that you have serious withdrawal symptoms, social anxiety बहुत ज़्यादा है, if you have weakness in core qualities like, for example, power of expression, effective intelligence, reasoning ability, sense of responsibility, cooperation, liveliness, mental stamina, whole lot of other things, then in that case you will not get recommended, including acute fear of phobias of different types. And it does not need any explanation, because clearly, how can you expect an army officer, naval officer, or a Air Force officer who has got suicidal tendency, वो कैसे दूसरों को लीड करेगा जो खुद के ही मन के ऊपर नियंत्रण नहीं है? सो क्लियरली दिस इज अ क्लियर केस ऑफ नॉन रिकमेंडेशन. इनफैक्ट यू शुड नॉट इवन ट्राई इट. बट मुझे पता है आप लोग मुझे कमांडर डॉक्टर NK नटराजन, PhD इन साइकोलॉजी, इनका एक बुक है, उसका एक्सट्रैक्ट भेजते रहते हो, जहाँ पे इन्होंने सोल्यूशन फॉर सुसाइड दिया है. एंड इनका जो स्टेटमेंट है वो है, वी डोंट कोच, वी ट्रांसफॉर्म. 14 डेज में ये ट्रांसफॉर्म कर देते हैं, इंक्लूडिंग सुसाइड को. This is the book, Psychology for SSB Interview. Now, I don't understand. How can you have a book that is Psychology for SSB? Psychological development has to be for life. But anyway, now, इसमें जो इन्होंने solution दिया वो बड़ा interesting है. It reads, never write sentences that will reflect that you're stress prone, have suicidal tendencies, fear of phobias. Never write sentences that will reflect that you have strong craving for power and wealth. So this is the transformational solution to suicidal tendency and fear of phobias and stress. We don't coach, we transform. So Commander Dr. N.K. Natarajan, PhD in psychology के मुताबिक, if there is a candidate who has got suicidal tendency or weakness in core qualities, the transformational approach to training is hide core qualities, hide suicidal tendency, hide fear of phobias, hide your stressfulness, and doing that, you go to the SSB, you perform, and you will get recommended because you will be able to fool them. ये जो इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर साइकोलॉजिस्ट जीटीओ है, इनको बेवकूफ़ बना के आप रिकमेंड हो जाओगे. ये किसके हित में इस तरह का ट्रेनिंग? कैंडिडेट के हित में, देश के हित में, या कमांडर डॉक्टर एन के नटराजन पीएचडी इन साइकोलॉजी इनके पर्सनल हित में? आप जरूर मुझे कमेंट लिख के बताना. इज दिस अप्रोच टू ट्रेनिंग एथिकल, मॉरली करेक्ट, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के इंटरेस्ट में है, या ट्रेनिंग देने वाले के सेल्फ के इंटरेस्ट में है? आजकल वैसे ही कोचिंग वालों का बड़ा लाइमलाइट में आए हुए डॉक्टर विवेक बिंद्रा, संदीप महेश्वरी का झगड़ा चल रहा है. उसके बाद यूपीएससी वालों का डॉक्टर विकास दिव्य कीर्ति ना, दृष्टि IAS, अन अकेडमी, सब लपेटे में आए हुए बिकॉज ऑफ अनएथिकल प्रैक्टिसेस एंड फॉल्स क्लेम एंड रॉन्ग मेथोडोलॉजी ऑफ ट्रेनिंग. तो क्या एसएसबी वालों का ये अप्रोच, वो भी सर्विस ऑफिसर्स, हमारा अप्रोच इज इट एथिकल? ये सवाल मेरा आप लोगों से है. ऐसा क्या हो जाता है कि मैं और कमांडर नटराजन जैसे और बहुत सारे लोग, हम आर्मी, नेवी, एयरफोर्स को छोड़ कर जब बाहर आ जाते हैं तो हम अपने पर्सनल वैल्यूज़ को ताक में रख के उसी DIPR के ट्रेनिंग के अंदर छेद करने की कोशिश करते हैं. इसके ऊपर ज़रूर विचार करना. And why such people are so popular? क्या ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल वैल्यूज और हमारा ट्रेनिंग का वैल्यूज एक नहीं होना चाहिए? क्या ये हमारे पर्सनल इंटीग्रिटी में नहीं होना चाहिए कि इफ ए पर्सन इज showing tendencies of suicidal nature and all those things, you should be told that you lack the military aptitude and you should not join. ये किसके इंटरेस्ट में है? राष्ट्र हित, कैंडिडेट के हित, या कोचिंग वाले उस सर के हित में जो इस तरह के कोचिंग देके ये क्लेम करते हैं वी डोंट कोच वी ट्रांसफॉर्म? इसके ऊपर जरूर चिंतन करना. ये सवाल आप लोगों के लिए. मेरी समझ में people with such tendencies should not even think of joining the armed forces. You will become a square peg in a round hole. आपका जीवन बहुत स्ट्रेसफुल हो जाएगा. So विचार करना, कमेंट जरूर लिखना इस पार्ट में. थैंक यू. नेक्स्ट इज, कभी कभी कैंडिडेट जोश जोश में जाने अनजाने में ऐसा इंफॉर्मेशन दे देता है कि वो अपना ही कब्र खोद देता है. Certain information that the interviewing officer will only get when you give. If you don't tell, it's not possible for him to extract. But आप exuberance में कुछ ऐसा चीज़ बोल देते हो जो उनके लिए एक ट्रिगर मिल जाता है, फिर उसके ऊपर चला जाते हैं, then you get stuck and फिर सोचते हो ये मैंने क्यों बोला. कोई इस तरह का एग्जाम्पल अगर आपको याद आता है तो आप मुझे कमेंट लिख के ज़रूर बताना. So don't dig your own grave. सोच समझ के बोल लो, because everything that you speak can become a weapon on which he can again cross question और आप अपने ट्रैप में फंस जाओगे. I'm not going to give you any explanation now, but don't dig your own grave. Next is deliberately hiding facts. कुछ facts को आप छुपा नहीं सकते, लेकिन आप कोशिश करते हो. जैसे कि कमांडर नटराजन सर ने बोला, सुसाइडल टेंडेंसी को छुपा दो, स्ट्रेस प्रोन को सिखा दो, और क्रेविंग फॉर पावर को छुपा दो. दिस थिंग कैन नॉट बी हिडन बिकॉज ये आपके मूल स्वभाव है, ये आपके कोर क्वालिटीज़ है, इन्हें आप कर नहीं सकते. तो सच की नाव हिलती है, डुलती है, मगर डूबती कभी नहीं है. सो इट्स बेटर टू टेक द अप्रोच ऑफ सच दैन दीज हाइडिंग फैक्ट्स. बिकॉज हाइडिंग फैक्ट में प्रॉब्लम क्या है, जब ये डिस्क्लोज होता है उसके बाद आप बड़ा एम्बैरसिंग सिचुएशन में हो जाते हो, बिकॉज सॉरी सर बोलते रह जाते हो एंड योर इंटरव्यूज ओवर, बिकॉज आप बेसिक कोर वैल्यू के साथ छेड़छाड़ कर रहे हो. वी एक्सपेक्ट यू टू बी अ पर्सन विथ ऑनेस्टी, पर्सन विथ इंटीग्रिटी, बट आप ऐसे कर रहे हो, कोर क्वालिटी छुपा रहे हो, सुसाइडल टेंडेंसी छुपा रहे हो, ये सब छुपेगा नहीं. सो डोंट हाइड फैक्ट्स डेलिबरेटली, बिकॉज इफ इट इज कॉट योर इंटरव्यू विल गो फॉर ऑन अ टैंजेंट, खत्म हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट इज पुअर रीडिंग हैबिट्स. आप एसएसबी जा रहे हो लेकिन आपके अंदर रीडिंग हैबिट्स नहीं है, आप इंटरनेट में टिकटॉक देखते रहते हो, so where is it going to lead? So please make sure you develop reading habits, read such books that helps you to grow as a person, and not only you should read, you must also have a understanding of that book, because you'll be questioned. और एक favorite question होगा, from this book what 2 things or 3 things that you've applied on your life. अगर वो नहीं बता पाए तो ये सब फिर फालतू का है. So please make sure you cultivate certain habit that makes you a potential candidate worthy of becoming an officer, not time pass. नेक्स्ट हमने ऑलरेडी देख लिया है कि नो हॉबी, नो इंटरेस्ट, कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं, कुछ नहीं, आप नौकरी ढूंढ रहे हैं एसएसबी में जाके. नो, यू विल नॉट बी रिकमेंडेड, यू आर नॉट ए डिजायरेबल कैंडिडेट. आप टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो अपना भी, एसएसबी का भी. सो प्लीज़ कल्टिवेट सर्टेन हैबिट्स इन यू. नेक्स्ट इज, अगर आपके अंदर प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन की आदत है, हर चीज़ को टालना, हर चीज़ को अभी नहीं बाद में करेंगे, प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन है, कंफर्ट जोन में फंसे हो, you are not a right choice for the SSB. So please make sure you break your comfort zone and don't procrastinate things that are supposed to be done today. The level of preparation, do it, otherwise it will create pressure at the performance stage. Next is ostrich attitude. Ostrich attitude मतलब है, आपको पता है मेरे अंदर ये वीकनेस है, आपको पता है there are certain deficiency in me, आपको पता है कि this deficiency will have consequence, जानते हुए भी शतुरमुर्ग की तरह सिर दबा के बैठे हो और इसे एड्रेस नहीं कर रहे हो. दिस विल अगेन कॉस्ट यू. जब पता चल रहा है, आप रिपीटर हो, 4 बार के रिपीटर हो, और ये वीकनेस जो आज है वो पहले भी था, उससे पहले भी था, बट यू आर नॉट चेंज. विदाउट चेंजिंग द इनपुट, इफ यू थिंक द आउटपुट विल चेंज, इट विल नॉट हैपन. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर, डोंट बी एन ऑस्ट्रिच एटीट्यूड वाला बंदा. गेट अप एंड हैंडल योर इश्यूज. नेक्स्ट इज टेंडेंसी टू मैग्नीफाई इश्यूज. छोटी छोटी बातों को बड़ा करने की टेंडेंसी, ये आपके मन का एक प्रॉब्लम है. दिस कैन बी करेक्टेड. एसएमएल में हम उसको करते हैं, एमआईएस ऑफ सेल्फ के उसमें, कि छोटी छोटी बातों को हमारा मन इतना बड़ा कर देता है कि हम उसी के बोझ के तले, जैसे इस पिक्चर में दिख रहा है, दब जाते हैं. दिस इज एन इनकरेक्ट वे ऑफ हैंडलिंग चैलेंजेस इन लाइफ. ऐसा आदमी कभी भी लीडरशिप पोजीशन में जा सकता, बिकॉज ये क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग में फंस जाता है, सर्प दृष्टि में फंस जाता है, सर्प दृष्टि से गरुड़ दृष्टि में शिफ्ट नहीं कर पाता है, प्रॉब्लम को समझ के उसके अंदर उलझ जाता है, उसको सॉल्व नहीं कर पाता. दिस कैन बी फिक्स्ड प्रोवाइडेड यू नो यू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. ओवर थिंकिंग, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट. ओवर थिंकिंग, हाइपर क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, इसको ठीक नहीं किया तो ये डिप्रेसिव टेंडेंसीज या एग्रेसिव टेंडेंसीज में भी चला जाएगा. नेक्स्ट इज लुकिंग टू मच फॉर शॉर्टकट. इतना शॉर्टकट ना देखो जीवन में कि आप प्रोसेस को ही इग्नोर कर दो. नाउ लुक एट दिस आर्टिकल. CEO asked daughter to have sex with his boss. क्यों? Because he wanted to get promoted as director. Now this is an extreme case, but SLB के कैंडिडेट्स भी अपने आप को रेकमेंड करने के लिए क्या क्या नौटंकी करते हैं. कौवा मोर बन के आता है, सुसाइडल टेंडेंसी को छुपा दो, कमांडर में ट्रांसफर सिखाते हैं. ये सब क्या है? ये सब शॉर्टकट देख रहे हो आप और वो दे रहे हैं. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर have a process oriented approach, not target oriented. जब आप प्रोसेस पे ध्यान दोगे, रिजल्ट तो आना ही है. एंड प्रोसेस इज प्रिपरेशन, परफॉर्मेंस, आउटकम, नॉट इग्नोरिंग द प्रिपरेशन, वांटिंग द outcome. Then you have to do all these things. CEO wants daughter to have sex with his boss because he wants promotion. This is completely disoriented. Next is, आप फौज में जा रहे हो but you're physically very lazy. आप ना उठते हो, ना भागते हो, ना पीटी करते हो, ना एक्सरसाइज करना पसंद है. फिजिकली यू आर लेजी बट यू वांट टू जॉइन द आर्म फोर्स. क्या करोगे? यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू एंड्योर द ट्रेनिंग. सो इफ यू आर नॉट वन ऑफ दोज पर्सन हु लाइक्स टू पुश योरसेल्फ इन द फिजिकल डोमेन, armed force is not the cup of tea. In many cases, like I was also not a very interested person in physical, but I was willing to push. But अगर आप you are unwilling to push, then आप academy में जाके आपको injury हो जाएगा, you will be thrown out of the academy. So please make sure you start yourself from the beginning, so that when you go to the SSB, you're fit adequately and you're able to, meet their aspirations. Next is already मैंने बात कर लिया है कि inaccurate understanding of the SSB. There's a lot of perception gap between the SSB as perceived by the DIPR and the organization and as seen by the candidates. Unfortunately, यहाँ पे कोचिंग का भी बड़ा रोल है. Like we saw Commander Natarajan की बुक में suicidal tendency को छुपा देने का. Now that's a level of distortion. So this has to be corrected. So please watch the video, perception management for candidates for improved selection. It will help you. Next is lack of self-awareness. We already told. Because you lack that awareness, that's why people are able to fool you by saying कि suicidal tendency को छुपा दो. An intelligent person is aware. उसको पता है यार छुपाने से कैसे हो जाएगा. So you cannot ask questions because you don't know what's happening. You have just given your life to coaching centers and they are, having merry on your cause. वो नहीं होगा. You have to increase your level of awareness. Next is आप अपने सेल्फ इवैल्यूएशन में, PIQ में, SD में ऐसे क्लेम मारते हो which has no evidence. आप बड़े बड़े बिल्डिंग बना रहे हो उसके नीचे फाउंडेशन ही नहीं है. So claims that are lacking evidence are false claim. So please don't make false claim because it will be caught और वो आपका खोखलापन बाहर आ जाएगा. Why do that? Next is your critical thinking skills are weak. Your analytical thinking skills are weak. They give you synthetic situation SRT की तरह and they want you to analyze and respond. And जो भी respond करोगे cross question. But you can only do that when you develop your analytical skills. But अगर आप वो नहीं करोगे तो वहाँ जाके sorry sir, I don't know sir, कुछ भी बोलोगे. Analytical skills, observation skills, perception skill, association skill. These are all IQ related. मैं already इसको cover कर चुका हूँ. So न्यूज़ एनालिसिस, करंट अफेयर्स नहीं बोलना, उसका एनालिसिस पता होना चाहिए, योर ओन ओपिनियन. दैट इज़ अ स्किल दैट कैन बी डेवलप. तो ऑलरेडी मैंने बताया हुआ, जब यशमोल सर का वीडियोस को देखना शुरू करो, एटलीस्ट फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ करंट अफेयर्स इन जियो पॉलिटिक्स, विल ट्रेमेंडसली हेल्प यू. नेक्स्ट इज रेजिस्टेंस टू एक्सेप्ट योर ओन मिस्टेक. इलाहाबाद इज अ रिजेक्शन सेंटर बोल दोगे बट खुद को नहीं बदलना. सो इफ़ यू मेक द सेम मिस्टेक अगेन अगेन, इट्स नॉट अ मिस्टेक, इट्स अ हैबिट. So error of judgment, error of intent and repetitive mistake. Error of judgment समझ में आता है, but error of intent and repetitive mistake, and error of judgment भी अगर बार बार हो, then it's not a judgment, it's a habit. इसे correct करना पड़ेगा, अपनी गलतियों से सीखना पड़ेगा. So we'll do it as part of the SML program. Next is interviewing officer को please करना. Instead of expressing yourself, you're trying to impress him. No, don't do bootlicking. आप उनकी हाँ में हाँ मिलाए जा रहे हो. नो यार, समटाइम इट मे बी अ ट्रैप. यू नीड टू हैव योर इंडिविजुअल आइडेंटिटी इन प्लेस. आप अपनी बातों को स्पष्ट रूप से रखो. आप उनको चाटो मत. आपको चाट के वो लोग नहीं रिकमेंड करेंगे. आप उनके सामने बेचारा बन के मत जाओ. आप उनके सामने एक पोटेंशियल कैंडिडेट बन के जाओ. यू विल गेट रिकमेंडेड. सो डोंट बूटलिक. बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स डू बूटलिकिंग. नो, नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. नेक्स्ट इज रिजिडिटी इन एटीट्यूड. इसका मतलब यंग एज है लेकिन बड़ा रिजिड हो गया, सोच में लचीलापन नहीं है. इनफ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इन थिंकिंग, रिजिडिटी इन थिंकिंग. या तो माई वे और हाई वे. मेरी बात नहीं सुनोगे तो कुछ भी नहीं होगा. नहीं, वो नहीं चलेगा. यू नीड टू बी फ्लेक्सिबल इन लाइफ. यू नीड टू बी approachable by others. You need to be willing to listen to others' point of view and put your own. Through a process of influence, you can convince others, but you cannot bulldoze. So lack of rigidity will be a sure shot case for your rejection because आप में ढलने की क्षमता नहीं है. It is like a cement का बैग जिसमें पानी पड़ गया, आप उसको कुछ यूज़ नहीं कर सकते, वो रास्ते का पत्थर बन के पड़ा रहेगा. नेक्स्ट इज, आप इतने बड़े लक्ष्य को बनाया हुआ है. इफ़ यू लैक डिटर्मिनेशन, अगर आपके पास इच्छा शक्ति नहीं है, लैक ऑफ पैशन इज फेटल. आप बोल तो रहे हम इट्स माई चाइल्डहुड ड्रीम, बट आपके अंदर वो जज्बा नहीं है, आपके अंदर वो करने का जो डिटर्मिनेशन नहीं है, ड्राइव नहीं है, यू विल नॉट बी सेलेक्टेड. वाई वुड वी सेलेक्ट अ पर्सन हु लैक्स इनर मोटिव पावर, हु लैक्स ड्राइव. सो अगर आपके अंदर डिटर्मिनेशन की कमी है, इच्छा शक्ति की कमी है, ओनली इच्छा के आधार पर जा रहे हो, नो चांस. नेक्स्ट इज योर एबिलिटी टू बाउंस बैक व्हेन यू मीट फेलियर्स. फेल होने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन फेल होकर ना खड़े होने में बहुत प्रॉब्लम. My life is full of mistakes and there are big bounce back at various stages of life. उसका एक उदाहरण है, there is a video on me, AFOSOP का उसका नाम है How to Identify Mistakes and Eliminate It. In my life, has been a bundle of mistakes. So please watch that and please make sure that fail होने के बाद bounce back करना सीखो. Goal post change नहीं करना, approach change करना. So Nikita का question, how do I make sure my PI goes well? I think Nikita, I've tried to cover it as much as possible, that preparation is the key. What you prepare during the preparation phase will determine how you perform in the SSB during your performance stage. That in turn will determine what is the probability of your success. The success will be high when you perform well, and your performing well will determine by the way you prepare, how much you prepare. So I hope this link is clear, and if it's clear, I want all of you to kindly put your comments. Nikita अगर देख रही है तो please put your comments also and give me a call so that I know कि निकिता ने अपने इस क्वेश्चन का पार्ट 1 का आंसर मैंने देने की कोशिश किया है. उसके अलावा if you're not subscribed to the AFOSOP YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and share it with your friends. And once again, you can join the offline online hybrid batch where the concepts of these what I've conveyed here, everything will be covered. And self-management leadership के बेस पे leadership and personality development tools and SSB के testing tool, that is site test D2 interview. 14 days का जो conventional model है उसमें सिर्फ testing tool किया जाता है, not the first part. We will do both the parts. This is the number on which you to contact, and kindly share it with the friends so that they also benefit. Thank you and may God bless you. Thank you very much.